Good evening, Bookworm followers. Of course, my children have not said two things to me, and as soon as I pushed to go live, they ran up the steps. But I do think they are chatting with their father, not me. So, here we are waiting for Miss Haddi. Here we go. Here she comes. I think I pushed the right button. Except maybe I didn't push the right button. Oh, there we go. Oh no, I have a funny thing. Hold on.
Oh, is it not working?
No, if you go away, it was my fault. We'll get you back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think you're fine now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's fine.
Is it working?
Sorry, I have to. Once the screen splits, the spacing is all different. You'd think I'd remember that by now, but I don't.
But we forget from time to time, just like I never remember to connect to the internet.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's a little loopy-doopy, but that's okay. Since no one cares. It doesn't really matter.
No.
1 second.
Literally no one cares at all.
No one cares at all. How are you, sis?
I am okay. I've been having coughing fits yesterday and today, so if I go into a coughing fit, I will step away.
I have to monologue? Oh. Shucks.
Yeah. I knew you'd be disappointed. I knew you'd be disappointed.
So upset about that.
Yeah,
sis.
I know. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's just like some weird throat thing going on with me. Like last night, I had to like sleep on the couch because I'm gonna I'm coughing so much. I'm gonna keep George awake all night. So I don't know. I took some Dayquil.
You just also need to appraise my new earrings.
I did actually notice them, like hardcore. I noticed them while I was just talking.
They say joy.
So
I didn't get to wear them. I know. I didn't get to wear them to church today. I bought them yesterday at the Defeat of Jesse James Day at the vendor fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought another pair of earrings too. And I got her card, because I really liked her stuff.
Yeah. Okay. You may have to share with your sister her info.
Well, I got the card because I got 10% off if I buy something online.
You have a birthday coming up.
Birthday's coming too.
My birthday's coming up.
That's right.
Oh, and
so I really like.
You were late. I'll have my stocking. I feel like my stocking is in your house.
I feel like one of us has it this year. I do think
so
that's
too.
right.
Just
So but I picked up a bunch of cards because I'm like, ooh, Christmas is coming, but I'm not 100% sure who I had, and I wasn't gonna look it up yesterday. So but I will. Yes, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna put those new earrings on for tonight.
Those are perfect. I love them.
I love them.
Perfection. And I did actually, just FYI, this is nothing to do with the book war. I did send out the stocking list for Christmas this afternoon.
I know. Okay. No, I know it's out there. I saw it in July or some ridiculousness like that. But that's why you do it now and not me.
And I sent it out early in the year because Mother. But I know that nobody else is gonna keep it in their inbox for 6 months and then remember to look at it again. So I always try to send it again at.
Oh no, I do. I do look at it. I keep everything in my inbox. I never delete anything. I mean, only spam stuff. I very rarely delete those kind of emails. And so I just Google search in my inbox. Sorry, I just noticed there's a bug in my. Fine. For stockings, and then it's right there.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Okay. Very good.
I'm good. Okay, let's talk about books.
Let's talk about books.
So,
absolutely.
So we both finished Emergent Strategy.
Yes.
So I don't know that we need to talk about that anymore, but I was just going to remind people it was I think it was a good conversation. Yes. Not everybody loved in our book club, which I think I always love it when people don't. I think people were being very kind because they know how much I do love it, which was also nice.
Yes.
But I do think it's always fun to read books that people are like, I don't know about that. So that was really good, but it was a good book club. I highly recommend Adrienne Barry Brown, Emergent Strategy.
Yeah, and we did have a really good. It spurred really good conversation.
Yeah,
I feel in the book club, so it was definitely a good pick for book club. Because it's one of your favorites, and so foundational for you. Excuse me, sorry, and it really because of what she's doing, what she's trying to do, and what she's encouraging and inviting everyone to do with her. It really brought up a lot of good conversation points in our book club because everyone in our book club is a totally different place. They have completely different contexts. And yeah, even if people weren't 100% on board, like, you know, this is the most amazing thing in the world, like Hannah, you know, they could they still totally understood like why this was important, and that like this does have relevance, you know, in their life. And yeah, I would just highly recommend reading it for a book, even for a book club. I thought it was a good book for the book club. You know,
I mean, I know a lot of book clubs don't do nonfiction.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, a lot of book clubs don't do nonfiction. It's like kind of a thing.
Oh.
But I think it's a good one for even a fiction book club, because she's a very good writer. So, but anyway, just something I just wanted to do one more plug.
Yep.
Not that there won't be another one later, but
there will be more. She'll bring it up at least 16 times in the next 3 book wars, our book talks. But I did want to say really quickly before we move on that like last month our book club did this Hannah book, this immersion strategy book, and this month our book is a book that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Although I've only read it once, I really like this book. It's called The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. It's sort of like a modern Gothic. It's not too long. It's not a super long one. Yeah, I don't have it here. I should have grabbed it. But anyway, I picked it and I'm a little bit attached to it. Although I'm really interested to see how I like it the second time around, because I read it a few years ago and I really liked it. So I do feel like this was a fun thing for our book club, because we had like this really Hannah book last month, and then this month is going to be like, this is the Haddi pick.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in September.
Yeah. But because you brought up Silent Companions, I'm actually going to talk about this other book that I just finished, because it's also, I haven't read Silent Companions, so I don't know yet, but I think it's in that kind of like Gothic, weird, off-kilter, but like, and a little like heady, weird. Anyway, I finished Fly Away by Kathleen Jennings.
Okay.
It's just this short little thing. I'd actually picked it up because Haddi and I were talking about books for next year for book club, and I was like, oh, I have the short one. Let's see what this is about. And I picked it up, and it's like, oh, this is all about like really weird stuff, and like a little it's a little bit more atmospheric for the Gothic sort of stuff. But it's actually set in Australia, and it's a family that is like, there's like this kind of haunting thing. You can't really talk much about these books, right? Because
you don't want to spoil it, because that's like, it's such a key part. Yeah.
Right. And I picked it up at Content. I know, shocking, but it was actually because it had like one of those little cards, like a recommended card thing from one of the people there. And I just thought it was so interesting. And you know me, I love anything Australian.
Yes.
But I have to say, I can only give it 3 stars for like, only because like, I'm not sure I know exactly what happened, but it's short enough that I can read it again, and I want to read it again at some point, like not like right now, but I'm like, I kind of love books like that. There's that part of them that I really like that's like, wait a minute, what happened?
Like, what was that? Yeah, I have had many a book, especially in Gothic lit, the ones that I pick up that are in that genre.
Yeah.
I think for me, sometimes I get done with them, Hannah, and I'm like, I'm not sure I know what.
There was that haunting one, that other haunting one that we did both of us did it, we separate, but and I remember that one being The Witching.
Yes. Yeah, but that one, I understood what that one was. There was this one called, I only remember bits of it. It was the Witching Hour or something. Anyway, and it was Helen, and her last name starts with an O. I'm not gonna remember it. Anyway.
But I think, because I was trying to decide, I was like, oh, am I gonna give it away? Am I ready? And I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna make Haddi read it first, because it's so little that it's totally doable. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it and try and give it a read again, like in a year, like at the same time again, and try and like, because I like the characters, I didn't like dislike them.
Yeah.
But it's weird, but it's kind of cool, but it's also like, I'm not 100% sure I can say exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So I also don't read a lot of like that kind of haunting Gothic, like horror. I mean, there is that strange, you know, and they all get really mixed up. It's very like sci-fi fantasy, right? Like
They
it all
do.
gets
Yeah, it all kind of like, yeah,
and
gets pooled together.
and it is like, I know, because I don't read a ton of it, that every one of them is harder for me than like if I like read a bunch of it. Then you like get into your rhythms and you know kind of the forms. But I kind of love reading some weird stuff that I'm a little like.
I know.
And I really like it when they're skinny.
I know. When they're skinny, it feels like it's not like a chore. That's
no,
the thing. Like,
right.
If it's like a big fatty and you have no idea what's going on and you get to the end and it's like not satisfying because you still don't know what was going on,
right.
that feels like a chore.
Exactly.
But when it's a little one like that,
you're like,
it's like,
you feel like you can give the time to it. Like you can be like, okay, I might try that one again.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go. So anyway,
I love that.
I just wanted to tell you about that one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll just tell you about the one that I'm like in the middle of right now. This one's like very sort of straightforward, which is kind of nice as well. This one is called Her Little Flowers.
Oh, nice. I saw that on your
Morgan.
Yeah.
And it's in that vein of sort of like haunted houses.
Okay.
Right? So there's like that whole vein of Gothic lit, like the houses are haunted.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is it's like really straightforward writing, like you know what's going on. But it's creepy because there's weird stuff going on that's like not like easily explained, right? Like in this house.
Okay.
And like some of the characters are like 100% on board with like this house is haunted and I see ghosts, and then the other characters are like, no, you're crazy. There's no such thing. Okay. And then there's this great little strain of the characters are older. They're like in their 50s, right?
Oh, okay.
But there's this great sort of like romance, but it's this completely like awkward, weird romance story that's like so great because you're like, yep, that's exactly how this would look. So that's like just like a sort of this fun little part of it too, and I'm really enjoying it. There's like a mystery to it as well, which is also probably why I'm really liking it as well. But she's sort of like trying to find out like what happened in her childhood, and she has some like repressed memories about it, but she doesn't really know that until she starts getting into it, right? So it's sort of this puzzle of putting this all together and figuring out what happened then and like what to do about this sort of love story now that like she's like, I don't even know. So it's just kind of like, it's a fun sort of like haunting book that's not like, I don't think it would be considered scary to anyone. It certainly isn't scary to me. But it doesn't really fall in that category, right? It's just sort of like a mystery haunting with this kind of adorable old folks love story like running through it, which is sort of like awkward and great, you know? So anyway, so that's Her Little Flowers. It's another one to add to my, you know, Gothic lit. But I am enjoying it. I got this one from the library, so I am enjoying that one.
That's good though. That's nice when you get one. Sure. All right, last time I'm going to talk about this book for a while. I finally finished it today. So this is my physical copy, but I actually listened to it this time, and the audio version of it, which had a full cast.
Oh wow!
It was really well done for me. It was funny. My husband has
that's a lot
on audio, and our library has gotten. He's like, "Are you ready for the next one now?" I'm like, "No, I do not need to commit to this trilogy. The one book was fine." Much less all the stuff that's before it, right? Like that's like 25 books.
Whole thing before,
But I will say, when I had told him like, oh, I'm really liking the audio version of it, like it's really like giving me kind of this like feel through the story and these characters in a new way. He's like, oh, that's really funny. He goes, I had a really hard time with the audio version of Dune because he'd been listening to these other 25 books or however many there are up to this, and they've just been like regular,
weren't like a full
just like a single person. There's like music on this one and kind of like this kind of like ethereal sound at different times. You know, they're like producing it. Really producing it, and it was really good for me. And he's like, oh, it was really frustrating for me. I was like, what is happening? This isn't the same voice. Like, where's the person who tells this story?
That's fair. That can be a little discombobulating.
I will say I mean, I'm not going to say it's like my new favorite book. It is not my new favorite book, but I understand the importance a little bit more, and I understand, as is why I read it for the third time,
why Adrienne Maree Brown really appreciated it and told me to read it, which is why I've done it twice now when I didn't really want to. And there is something to be said for continuing to push yourself outside your own boxes and trusting that there is something there, even when it's not readily available to you. So, me and Frankie,
you and Frank Herbert, you guys are
that's a weird story, though. I'm still just gonna say it is such a strange world. But and there will never be anything that the 1984, 87, whatever it was, movie lived rent free in my brain as like the wackiest bit of cinema that ever existed.
That had to have been like one of the weirdest things that we watched, like and movie wise, like growing up. Like I think about like those gross people that were related to Sting, like, and they were like so big, and then I don't know if they like floated and they had like pustules and stuff. It was like, what's happening? Like that was weird.
It's the Harkonnens, and it is. Yeah. I know now. I know because
now you know. I haven't even seen that movie since probably high school.
I don't think I've seen that movie since high school. I did rewatch the new Dune actually right after I started listening to the book again. Because I kind of was like, oh, okay. Now I'm like, and I had like some of the things in my head, so I did rewatch it, and I really liked the movie a lot more. And I'm looking forward to the second part 2 comes out
soon.
October.
Yeah, it's soon.
November.
It's
something like that. So I'm looking forward to it
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Just on that theme, things that we're looking forward to coming to the theater. I don't know if you've seen this or if our viewers have seen this. There's a new Agatha Christie movie coming out, Hercule Poirot, The Haunting in Venice, A Haunting in Venice.
I saw that.
It has Michelle Yeoh in it, by the way, who I know you love. And Tina Fey is in it.
Oh, I didn't know Tina Fey was in it. Okay.
Yeah, Tina Fey is in it. I'm trying to think. Those might be the 2 big ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Anyway, it comes out on Friday.
Oh, gosh, I didn't realize it was coming out that soon.
15th of September it comes out.
Okay.
And I had George like looking into it, and we're looking at our calendar, and we're playing D&D on Friday night, so we can't go on Friday. But we got tickets. I know, super dork, right? We got tickets for Saturday, so we're going on Saturday. So like the whole thing won't get spoiled or ruined or anything for me. But I'm super excited. Agatha Christie.
So have you read The Haunting of Venice?
I haven't read this one. I haven't read
that one because you've read these.
Because the only one that I'd actually read before I saw the movie was Death on the Nile. I had read that one, so I knew the story going into that one, but I hadn't read The Orient Express. I hadn't read that one before I saw the movie, but then of course I read it after that. And then this one I don't know the story, so I'm like really excited.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun.
Anyway, just wanted to say that's what I'm excited for. That's coming to the theater very soon. I'm sure we'll go see Dune as well. We saw Dune. Last year or whenever it came out. So.
Oh, it was it was like 2020. It's been a while. Which timeline-wise makes sense, actually, that they waited. In terms of the novel, it makes sense. Yeah, there's like years between sections. So it was kind of fun too to listen to it in the midst of like this other creative piece that's happening around it. You know what I mean? Like it, it was kind of nice. So
that's great.
All right, so what else do you have?
Okay, really, like it was funny because I was looking at my list of books. I felt like I talked about all of my books last time. Okay, so we did Emergent Strategy. Oh, I did listen to this other one. I listened to this one. It was called Wayward. You may be seeing it. It's pretty new. It's WEY.
Yeah. I saw it on your Goodreads. Yeah.
It's pretty popular. I think it's not new this year. It may be like a new publication this year or last year because it's just like started popping up on all of my stuff. And I listened to it. I rented it from the library.
The library. Exciting.
Yay me.
Very good.
And it was really good. It was really good. I actually, the format of it is one that a lot of, I don't know, I see a lot of this or read a lot of this now. I don't know if I read a lot of it, but I've seen a lot of it where you've got like the story of say like 3 different people in 3 different time periods, but then like the stories all sort of like connect somehow or another, right? So there's like a modern lady in the story, like living like now, and then there's a lady who lives in the 1940s, and then a lady who lives in like the early 1600s.
Oh, okay.
And they're all like connected. They're all like part of the same family like line in this area in England. Go fig. I know. And but anyway, but the first lady was put on trial for being a witch. Okay. And so like this is sort of like the story of these women kind of like coming into their own, because basically like I've kind of learned with all of my Gothic reading and my witchy reading and all this sort of stuff, that basically witch was like this catch-all term for like women who just didn't conform. I mean, like basically across the board, that's like what this actually was. Any woman who didn't conform or like tried to heal other people, that basically just like dumped you into the witch category. And like, you know, if people decide to come after you, you were screwed. Yeah. So anyway, it's really about these three women who are all Waywards. That's their last name. And how they all kind of like come into their own and like kind of own their strangeness, right? Their thing that makes them different from everybody. So it was a nice sort of like, it's kind of like I don't know whether they have family epic or saga or whatever they do, like that. But it was nice. It was sort of like just these three, right? So it wasn't like we didn't go like the full timeline from 1600 to the modern era. It was just and the audio version was nice too, because it actually had three different narrators, so three different ladies narrated.
That's nice. I like that. Yeah. Sometimes and particularly if you don't have like that, because now you know you kind of like break. And sometimes they even have different, even in the written form, they'll have like different fonts or something like that just to help. Yeah. So it is nice when you don't have that sort of a thing, that you do have like a really clear indication of who's speaking. Yeah, that's nice.
And that was really nice. So it was a very like enjoyable read to listen to for sure. Like the audio version of it was really, very listenable. And the story was good, you know. So that one, I did just finish that one. I'm literally like getting an audiobook done a week, just so you know, because of this driving.
Oh, I know, you're going to kick my butt. It's fine. I'm fine.
Probably.
I'm accepting. So I had just those two, which I had talked about last time, but then I just started, because I'm just a little bit slower than everybody else right now. It's fine. It's most season, but I just started a couple. One is the first fiction in the Emergent Strategy series. This was the very first fiction piece that was written and approved for that particular series out of AK Press, called Begin the World Over. And it is a think piece of what if some of the slave revolts of the, hold on, let me make sure I'm so bad. You know how bad I am with dates.
Are very bad with dates,
of the 1790s. Okay. It's some of the slave results of that time period actually had taken. And actually then, where would we be? What would that look like? So it's the story of a slave of Jefferson, actually, who was taken on a boat to be a chef. And I'm not very far. I'm like at page 10. I'm not very far. But that's the story, and then like what happens if these slave revolts actually
succeeded.
Right. So I'm intrigued. It's very intriguing. The writing, I mean, even to page 10, I'm a little like, oh, this is interesting.
That's great.
So I love speculative fiction, and I don't read a ton. As much, I think you do this a little bit more in like historical fiction, where it's like set in a very specific time, and like that question of like what if, or like, and sometimes in smaller ways than this, like this is a very big world changing kind of thing. But my speculative fiction is usually like out in the future. So I'm kind of intrigued by this particular genre to see what Kung Lee Sun does in that. And how it kind of like resonates with me in that I love speculative fiction, but I don't do a lot of historical stuff. So it'll be kind of a fun little crossover, I think.
That's super interesting. Like, I kind of want to read it too. So,
well, once I'm done, I'll let you read it.
Sounds really good.
And I went and ordered. AK Press was having their summer sale, and I needed to pre-order a couple of there's this book that's coming out from AK Press with the Emergent Strategy series which of course at this particular moment I'm not going to remember the name. It's a beautiful purple cover. It's a beautiful purple cover, people, with mountains and swords.
The purple cover.
Anyway, so I've been meaning to pre-order it. So I was like, I'm going to do it now. It comes out in October.
Sure, yeah.
And when I went to pre-order it, I realized they had their summer sale. So I ordered all of the Emergent Strategy series books that I don't have yet. So two of them are on pre-order, and then I think there was just one other one. I think it was just 3. And it was called Jesus Devil and it's the Parables. So I'm so intrigued to see what it is. I know. It's very cool. So anyway, so that one should be coming, I think, pretty quickly. I feel like maybe there was 4, but I can't remember what the fourth one would be. So we'll see. That's how many books I buy. I can't remember. By the way, I walked by content yesterday and I did not go in. Thank you very much. And this is the other book I decided to pick up because I just wanted, it's called Hungry Heart, Essays on Courage, Desire, and Belonging.
Nice.
So I just wanted something a little bit less. I mean, it's not light exactly, but
if it's short stories, then it's not, or essays, it's not as like intense to read that way.
So yeah, and I'm really enjoying it. It came out in I think 2021. It was a group of people who had been telling stories like in person, and then 2020 happened, and so a lot of them decided to write a short essay, and then this was edited by Jennifer Rudolph Walsh. And so yeah, it's been. I mean, I just started. I'm just like 2 essays in and the introduction, but it's just kind of like I've been having attention span lately. Like my brain is like going in and so finding some of those genres that are like, I picked up a couple big books and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. I don't have my capacity now. I hear you. Like that absolutely happens.
You know, I read like 3 pages and I'm like, oh my God, this seems like a lot of work right now. So, I mean, for somebody who's like an avid reader who loves reading and like it is my pastime, my passion, my quote unquote addiction at certain ways, it is my go-to, in so many ways. But even even those of us who do that, like get into places where it's like, oh my, I can't. It's 390 pages. I can't invest that right now. So I'm investing in 5 pages at a time in a very small size, regular size book, current size book.
Exactly.
You gotta. Yeah. But that's the beautiful thing about books. You got it all kinds.
All kinds. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of all kinds, I'll tell you the ones that I'm really looking forward to. And these are both courtesy of Hannah because she loves me that much. Because I was thinking like, what am I looking forward to reading? And of course, I'm looking forward to reading my October books. But this is one that Hannah got me for Christmas. This is the manga version of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Which is
and I literally
really good.
I was standing here reading it, and then I'm like, oh my God, how do you have to put it down? Because I'm literally saving it. I'm saving this so that like the first time I read it, it's going to be like perfection. And don't worry, I will like have great expectations, and then I will let myself down because that's always how it goes. But this is
not on that one.
This book is going to be amazing. I'm not even worried about that. So anyway, this is the manga version. And the other exciting thing that I just wanted to tell everybody is that Hannah and I decided to include this in our book list for next year on our book club.
That's so exciting.
And this is going to be our first manga. This will be our first manga.
That is our first manga. Yep.
So anyway.
I think, and our first graphic novel, like in that whole genre.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to it for next year. I think it's going to be fun. And then this is also courtesy of Hannah. You must have given this to me for Christmas as well. I forgot it was sitting there, and then I was like, oh, I forgot how much I'm excited about that one. Ghostly Tales.
I gave that to you?
Spine-chilling stories of the Victorian age. No, you know what? I did buy this. I bought this at Birch Park.
That one.
That's what.
Yes, you bought that one in Birch Park. Yes.
You were with me though. I bought this at Birch Park on our tour.
I'm like, it looks familiar, but I don't feel like I wrapped it. That's what I was thinking in my brain.
It's gorgeous. I mean, this is so gorgeous, you guys. And it's spine-chilling stories of the Victorian age. Okay, and I don't think you're gonna see this very well. This is like it's like wallpaper.
That is
and
so
there's,
cool.
Like skulls in it. Like, look, that's a skull right there.
Yeah, no, that is really cool.
Anyway, it's gorgeous. I just wanted to say how gorgeous it was. I'll find one picture and show it. Yeah. The Old Nurse's Story by Elizabeth Gaskell, and that's the.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Those are beautiful. Yeah.
So I mean, this is just going to be.
That was a good
guys, like, it's just
yeah.
going to be gorgeous and wonderful, and just short ghost stories, right? Just short ghost stories in there. And I forgot it was over there, and I went to go look for the manga one, and it was sitting there. I'm like, oh man, I'm so stoked for that one. So anyway, those are like the two that I'm just like, I'm dying for October to come around. Like,
why is October not here yet?
Yeah.
So I will tell you, because I mean, I told you, but I will tell everybody else. You probably have forgotten. Is I read Nightmare Before Christmas last year on Halloween. It was like 75 degrees here. Minnesota. I live in Minnesota on October 31st. It was like the most gorgeous day. I sat out on my stoop with pumpkins and my thing of my bucket of candy. And we had like 1 million kids. Like we're not. It's not.
What is that? Gorgeous? It was the entire.
But it was such a gorgeous night that everybody was out, and like just everybody was out walking up and down. And I have a neighbor who's lived in Farmington almost his whole life. They left a while, but they came back when they had their kids. And I said, "Is it like this normally?" And it just hasn't been like this because it's been cold. And he's like, "No, I've never seen it like this." I mean, he's a few years younger than I am. And he's in his mid to late 30s, and he's like, "I've never seen it like this." He's like, I lived here, and like I have no idea what's happening, but it was such a gorgeous night. And so I sat there and I read the whole thing in like, I don't know, it was probably like 2 hours is probably what I sat out there and read it. And so yeah, it was like the most quintessential, like,
that is literally perfection. For
sure. My jack-o'-lanterns lit up in the spot, and the sun is setting, and I'm out there reading my Nightmare Before Christmas book and handing out candy.
Way to create some amazing atmosphere for yourself. Yeah.
Well, if I have to do Halloween, that's how I'm going to do it.
That's how you should do it. So, absolutely. Yep.
Halloween's not my favorite holiday, but
it's
a lot of people's.
It's a lot of people. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. I know I don't have a great deal of new stuff
I didn't either.
To talk about. So
well,
I'll have to let you guys know how these two go in 2 weeks. I think we're back on in 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
can't remember. Did we decide we were going to talk about the Silent Companions because we were both going to read it, or did we not decide that? We talked about it.
We decided we were going to do that. I think we're just doing. Are we just doing one in October?
Yeah, I think we're just doing one in October because we're traveling
doing
and
one
stuff, and
later in October because of our traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is 2 weeks. I think it's like
this one
the 5th.
Is 2 weeks. This one's 2 weeks from today because it's still September. The next one is 2 weeks from today. It's like the 28th.
Oh my God! I thought it was like I seriously thought we were at the end of September.
We have no idea like what time it is, what day it is, what month it is, what year it is. It's really irrelevant. We will be doing a BiblioTalk 2 weeks from tonight. It'll still be September of 2023. And I think we did decide we're going to talk about the Silent Companions because we will have just finished our book club. So we'll be able to have some good feedback from book club as well as our own about it too.
Yes.
So
okay. I'm remembering our conversation now. I'm so sorry. Honestly, I'm like, it's like September 24th, right? No, Hannah, it's not September 24th.
It's like the 10th or the 14th or something. I don't know, but it's today. Yeah. It's really not. We're not even halfway through September.
It's been a really long week, apparently.
It's been a long month. Oh, it's only the 10th? You gotta wait till,
Okay. Well, that's a peek into my life.
Anyway, there we go. Yeah. Good time.
Good time. So, all right. I don't know that we have any other announcements, really.
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much what's going on.
So, it's what's going on. Thanks for watching. If you do, well done.
Sorry.
We just do this because we enjoy it.
Because we just want to talk about our books.
And we do appreciate everyone who joins us on the journey in any capacity. But thank you for being with us. Like and subscribe as you do. We can't really subscribe here, but you know how it works. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
All right.
Absolutely. Have a good
Sounds
night,
good.
everybody.
All right. Night, everyone.